Welcome to the Rewrite Your Story with Tasha Joe podcast, where we fearlessly dive into the vast realm of thoughts, ideas, and conversations that know no bounds. Buckle up and prepare for a wild ride as we venture into uncharted territories and explore the unexplored. On this journey, we leave no stone unturned and no topic untouched. From the profound to the absurd, from the mundane to the extraordinary, we delve into the depths of human curiosity and embrace the sheer unpredictability of life. This is the podcast where anything and everything takes center stage. Each episode is a thrilling adventure into the unknown as we bring you fascinating discussions, captivating stories, and mind-bending perspectives. As we embark on a quest for knowledge, enlightenment, and endless entertainment. Expect the unexpected, for here there are no boundaries and no limitations. Open your mind, expand your horizons, and get ready to be captivated by the infinite possibilities that await. So whether you're a seeker of knowledge, a lover of stories, or simply someone who craves the thrill of the unknown, this podcast is tailor-made just for you. Tune in, fasten your seatbelt, and prepare for a roller coaster ride through the vast expanse of human curiosity. Get ready to be amazed, enlightened, and entertained, because on this podcast, there's only one rule. There are no rules. Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome back. On today's episode, I have guest speaker Katie Justin again for round 2. And today's episode, we kind of wanted to just talk about time and time management and getting away from the I'm too busy excuse. So welcome, Katie.
Hi.
Welcome back. It's been
Yes.
what, like a month, I think, since our last episode?
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. We got really great feedback from
Yes.
the last episode.
The last episode we did on Katie being a postpartum doula.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we got a lot of really good feedback. Katie
Yeah.
and I always have the best conversations. We're actually out in Seabeck at her place right now, sitting in the sunshine, and it feels
Yes.
so good. So yeah, let's go ahead and dive into this. So time.
Yeah. That's actually a great place to start when you said we're out in Seabeck. I love that you are able to take your equipment anywhere
Yes.
because we wouldn't have been able to do this. And I would have said, I can't come to your shop. I have Palmer, he's napping, blah, blah, blah. And I just really love how much I've seen you change with friendships and really invest more into the time because you are such a very busy person. I mean, we're all busy in our own ways, but I think it speaks volumes when you actually set the time aside. Even if it's like, hey, I only have this hour and a half, but I'm going to be fully present with you in this hour and a half instead
Yeah.
of, okay, so I'm free from this time to this time, but I have an appointment at 5 and I have to run this errand. Instead of telling me everything you have to do that day, you've done the opposite now of just, hey, I'm free
That
from
is
here to
true.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it did work. I mean, we just scheduled this like 2 days ago,
Mhm.
and we were like, okay, let's record. And we both said, when are you available? And you said Wednesday. And I said, perfect. Wednesday is my one free day. And
Yeah.
then we just said, how about this time? I'll put Palmer down for a nap. I said, done and done. We're like, whoa,
Mhm.
that was really easy.
Like, wait a second. It really does, because I think when you approach it as a friend differently that way, and you say, this is my time I can give to you
Mhm.
from this time to this time, it's like, oh, wow, she's like doing this thing for me and we
Yeah.
get to be here together.
And I think that just goes back to, our topic today too, is making the time. We're all busy,
Yeah.
but making the time
Mhm.
for the people and the things that we want to do or the people we want to see.
Yeah.
And you are somebody that I've always wanted to make that time for. And, our
Mhm.
schedules get in the way and whatnot. And I've just really lately been dialing down to, who are my people? Who are the
Mhm.
people that I want to spend time with? And so it gets easier and easier,
Yeah. So, okay, if somebody were to ask you, how do you make time for those things? I'm so busy. I have work. I work out. I want to read books. I want to do this, and I don't have the time. What's your first instinct or your first piece of advice?
I would say start small. I think that's where people get discouraged because they just like overthink it.
Mhm.
Think about your day and think about something maybe you can eliminate or replace. Or, it can come down to if you're somebody who sleeps in, like I was for a while, getting up earlier.
Mhm.
Or I don't know, it would be starting small and just picking something in your day to kind of replace.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about you?
Um, oh, I think I would say asking for help, especially if you're a mom in postpartum or none of the above. But I think just, do I have to run this errand? Like,
Mm,
can I ask my husband to do it?
yeah.
Or can I put this to another day? Is this other thing important? And are you spending time with the right people? Are you just trying to fill your schedule because you have free time?
Mhm.
Or are you really wanting to put intentions behind it? And i- it's all about that value to me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I feel like I did spend a lot of my 20s just filling my time with stuff. And over, time, you realize, oh, wait, I'm not,
Yeah.
this friendship isn't really serving me. It was just filling space.
Yep.
So now I'm a lot more intentional with who I want to be around and
Oh,
who
me
I,
too, for
because
sure.
once you're in your 30s and so on, you realize, oh, wait, I really don't have that much time in the day. After I work out, take care of myself, whatever. Okay, I only have X amount of free time in the week. Who do I want to spend my time with? And,
Yeah.
or what do I want to do with that time specifically? Do I want to work out? Do I want to read?
Yeah. And something we were kind of just talking about beforehand too is, I know for me, all throughout the day, I'm like, I need to do this. I got to do this. And then at the end of the night, I'm like, did I even do anything that,
Mm-hmm.
our minds are just in overdrive and all the things. But that's one thing that I've gotten better about is at the end of the night, yeah, doing a check in and being like, what did I do today? How can I make tomorrow better?
Mm-hmm.
Because I kind of, plan out my day the night before. I look at my
Yep.
schedule. I kind of do that for the week. Come Sunday night, I'll say, okay, this is everything I have going this week. And then I still do it each night too. But okay, I have a gap here, or I don't really need to be doing this thing. Or like you said, asking for help.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I've gotten really good at, where if it's something I don't want to do, I ask or find somebody else to do it.
Yes.
Like my website, that was something where a year ago I did a trade and she's been managing my website for the last year.
Mm.
And then she finally told me she's too busy and she can't do it. And I'm like, shit, I do not want to do this. And so she sat down with me and was showing me all the steps. And I felt my energy. I was like, ugh, I
Totally
don't want
depleted.
to be sitting. Yeah, I felt
Mm-hmm.
depleted afterwards. And so I manifested, I put it out there like, please, universe, like find me somebody to do this because I own a business. I
Yeah.
have to, update it with workshops and whatnot. And I literally put it out there. I shit you not, the next day, Heidi, who hosts the sound baths,
Yeah.
she comes in and she's like, oh, I have a friend who wants to take on your website. And so she got me in contact with her and we worked out a trade. And now I don't have to do my website
That's amazing.
versus where I could be sitting here dreading doing
Yeah.
something I don't want to be doing,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's finding people or replacing things so I can make time for the things I want to be doing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think that it also goes beyond the people that you're around, and it goes with your body
Yeah.
and your sleep and resting. You actually said something that reminded me of Glennon Doyle. I love her
Oh,
book,
yeah.
Untamed.
Mhm.
And that was the first time I heard this phrase at all, stop shoulding yourself, where
Yes.
it's
Get
that,
rid of the
yeah,
shoulds.
it's that mental statement of I should be doing this, 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 this. And I have to tell myself constantly, stop shoulding yourself. What is it actually that you want to do? First of all, what are the things you absolutely need to get done today?
Yeah.
It's probably not a ton, maybe
Yeah.
two
And what
things.
are the things you want to be doing
Yes, and
too?
then after that, okay,
Mhm.
now what do you want to be doing? Like, stop shitting yourself, and I love that
It
so
sounds like you're
much.
saying shitting yourself.
Exactly.
No, it
That's
sounds like
what
shitting.
yeah,
Oh, you're like,
that's so
exactly.
funny.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah, so I think that also translates to our bodies,
Mhm.
and how is it speaking to you? What is it asking from you in this moment in time? Are you continuing to stay in that hyperdrive, busy, 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 go, 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 fill my schedule? Or
Mhm.
are you even slowing down with the time that you do have to actually truly check in with your body?
Yeah. And paying attention, to your energy levels.
Mhm.
And that's something I definitely have gotten so much better about throughout the day, noticing my highs, my lows, what gives me energy, what depletes my energy.
Mhm.
And it just becomes, I don't know, I feel like I've got it down so well now that it's just instant. I can feel
Yeah.
it and I'm like, nope, this is a lower vibration. I don't like it down here. Or leaving an environment and feeling like, okay, that my energy was low. Who
Mhm.
was I around?
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
And there are the things that we're going to have to do that are unavoidable that we
For
may
sure.
not want to be doing.
Yeah.
But then how do you turn that around and how do you now replenish your body? You're gonna eventually have to be around people that may exhaust you or whatever.
But finding a way to not allow it to deplete you
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And suck the life out of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think working at the stand for so many years with you, I think that is what started. That's how I learned to really check in with my body about what I
Hmm.
needed because I would be so on my ass, exhausted after each shift, and I'm like, "I don't get it. I'm not like some 50-year-old,
Yeah.
like, why am I so exhausted?" And I finally realized, well, yeah, not only are we on our feet all day and we're really busy, but the amount of people and energy that
Oh,
we
yeah.
came into contact with, and you have to be on.
Now understanding energy,
Yes.
back then we didn't. So now
No.
looking back, like you saying that, like it's an energy exchange and we were
Mhm.
giving out so much
Yeah.
energy.
And
Yeah.
it's not like we could come to the window with how we truly felt that day, maybe.
Yeah.
We definitely had to be on, and I'm sure there were definitely some customers where we could be more authentic with and
Mhm.
like, "Oh, yeah, my day's kinda crappy," but for the most part, we really did have to be on, and when you are on for 7, 8, 9 hours a
Yeah.
shift,
Yep.
yeah. So that's really what started me being able to, like, check in with my body and how that what what time do I need to invest into my body to slow down, and what does that
Mhm.
look like?
So I'm curious. I mean, I know you're a health nut and you're all
Mhm.
about nutrition and yeah, it's a little windy out here. So in what ways have you noticed, paying attention to when your energy's lower and like would it be like food or supplements or your sleep or I mean it's
Mm,
all of the above of course, but
for sure. Okay, I'm gonna put being a mom aside because
okay.
that's just a given. Um, but I really think it depends. I've also tried to be more aware of my cycle and really done like cycle syncing because if I'm in my follicular phase or I'm on my period, I'm going to be a lot more exhausted. So I really try and like shift what my life and schedule looks like according to that. But yes, there are so many other things that definitely make my body exhausted. Did I schedule too much that day?
Mhm.
How was my diet? How was my appetite? Did I get enough protein? A lot of women are not eating enough protein. Did I get fresh air? Did I
Mhm.
plant my feet on the ground outside? Just so many different questions that,
And it's the littlest thing that can throw you off.
oh, absolutely.
Kind of like
Absolutely.
so you follow the glucose goddess
Yes,
and I still
obsessed.
want to learn more about that, but yeah,
Love
she
her.
was even talking about, just starting out in the morning eating something savory versus
Mm-hmm.
sweet, can
Mm-hmm.
shift it.
Absolutely.
So tell me, I mean, because you are all about nutrition and I'm kind of curious, like, so do you follow a lot of that, what she puts out?
So I definitely took a lot of her tools and started using them because my blood sugar was so weird after having Palmer.
Okay.
So I definitely implemented a lot of that. But I think when it all comes down to it is just a balanced plate
Yeah.
and knowing what's going to work for your body. And I really do think wearing a CGM, a continuous glucose monitor for even 2 weeks is one of the most beneficial tools you can use as a woman to really see what food is working for you.
Oh,
So
I want to
like
do that so bad.
fuck all the diets that are out there.
There's a spider on my microphone. Sorry.
Flick it off.
No, I don't touch spiders.
Here.
Oh my god,
Here.
just don't flick it on me. Sorry, guys, one sec.
Brother.
Okay, thank you.
Send
Katie
him
to the
into
rescue.
space.
He was so small too, but I don't know, creepy crawly things. Ugh. Anyways, okay.
Okay, I totally lost my train of thought.
Glucose or wearing
Oh,
the
wearing the monitors. That so like I said, forget about any diet that's out there.
yeah.
That is one of the best tools you can use for your body because you can see in real time how your body is responding, how drastic your spike is, how fast you're coming back down, how does it stabilize it, all of the above. And that was just one of the greatest tools that I've ever used.
That is something when I came across her page that I text you about because you
Yeah.
said that you had ordered them or had been
Yep.
wearing
Hmm.
it. And I
Yeah.
want to do that so bad because I'm very much about being the healthiest version I can be, but I've never, besides eating healthy and working out, I don't know anything. I've
Yeah.
never done any labs or tests or anything like that. So I'm excited to do that. I
Yeah.
really want to do
And
that.
also for just everyone listening, you don't have to run out and do all of the testing. Of course, it's extremely helpful, but if you really just sit with your body, and also your period and cycle are huge, huge
That's another
factors.
thing I want to learn
Yeah.
more
So
about.
for those of you that don't know, I'm sure most of you do, day one of your period is day one of your cycle. So if you keep track of that when you switch from each phase, how am I feeling? You'll start to notice a trend throughout each month.
Okay.
And you'll
Okay.
notice exactly when you ovulate. Not every woman ovulates on day 14 or
Yeah.
whatever. Um, and back to the glucose monitors, I really wish more doctors would be able to hand them out
Hmm.
because you really have to have diabetes or pre-diabetes or anything.
But you can get these on Amazon and right?
So those ones on Amazon are the monitors where you just prick your finger.
Okay.
The continuous is the one that you put in your arm and it stays
Oh,
there and you can
okay.
scan it on your phone.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
wanna try that so
Yeah, I
bad.
actually just messaged my doctor and she got me another one. So I'm like, it's time to see
Yeah.
where I'm at. Because what I also learned was what I was doing with my time and how it was affecting my body. It wasn't just the food. I noticed, whoa, I had a really big spike right there. I wasn't eating. I hadn't just eaten, 30 to 60 minutes ago. What was I doing? I was watching a show that was extremely stressful.
Mm.
And I was like, "Oh my gosh, Tanner, I can't watch this show before bed anymore. It's giving me way too big of a spike and having to come back down and do all that before I go to bed. That's not useful for my time and my body."
I'm so glad you brought that up because that is one thing that I preach to so many people is
Mhm.
I do not watch horror or, the news or anything like that because I don't like the way it makes me feel.
Mhm.
Like scary movies, how I
Mhm.
get startled all the time, and I'm like,
Mhm.
"Why am I torturing myself and doing that to
Yep.
myself?" Like, it's giving me anxiety.
Mhm.
So I mean, I will watch it, but I don't care to
And I
watch
don't know
it.
about you, but did you love watching that stuff when you were younger?
Yeah,
Like
I
going
mean
to scary
yeah,
movies?
for
Oh,
sure.
loved it.
Yeah, especially
I was a
on a
psycho.
date and, like,
Oh,
just
yeah.
rub up
Mhm.
on your person, like, because 'cause you're scared and whatnot. Hell yeah. But now, no, I'm like, "Oh god, turn it off."
Yep.
There was a show that I recently, just watched, and I think it was Fallout,
Oh my gosh,
and I couldn't watch it.
Tanner and I are watching that right now,
It
and
was so, like, ugh,
I
like
actually can't focus on it.
yeah,
I know he wants to watch it, and I never watch his shows because he's a cop. He likes
yeah,
watching all this stressful, scary shit,
yeah.
and it doesn't
No, I
affect
didn't like
him.
the way I was like, "Ugh,
And
gross."
I'm like, "Hey, I'm just gonna, like, clean the kitchen or do whatever. You can have this on, but I can't sit and watch it. It's too
Yeah.
stressful for me."
Yeah.
So,
No,
yeah.
I mean, I'm down for, like, This Is Us or Firefly Lane
Yes.
or, any of those shows,
Yes.
but
Give me
no,
a
I
good
couldn't.
rom-com.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Oh my goodness.
Okay, so how have you noticed with your time, I guess in terms of your body, how do you think it manifests in your body when you don't listen to your body to slow down? When it's asking you for more
Oh
time
gosh, well,
and
I
to
mean, I have a
slow the fuck down.
perfect example of that, when I manifested my physical illness with my hands, and
Mm,
I've brought that up in a previous episode, but, I was go, 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 didn't have boundaries, didn't know how to say no to people, and the universe shut my hands down. I mean, you remember my
yep.
hands were turning blue, needles and pins,
I
and
didn't you have like 3 big projects? You were like
yes,
planning a wedding for
planning a wedding for
someone,
someone,
doing
working
like a
on my girlfriend's
remodel.
house, doing the
Yes.
remodel,
Yeah.
and everything but my stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, those were 2 of them, and then there was something else, and so I was just nonstop
Yeah.
and helping these people, and because I do enjoy that stuff, but yeah, the universe was like, "Slow down," and so it literally put me out, and that's when, I spent an entire year going to doctors trying to figure out what was
Yep.
wrong, and then my spiritual journey, and I was like, "Oh, the universe is telling me," so I got to the root of the problem and started saying boundaries, saying no to people, and then sure as shit, I cured myself within a month,
Mhm.
so I do believe that, or I just pay attention if I do start to have any um physical illnesses or anything going wrong, I
Mhm.
know it's something I'm doing mentally or emotionally because I am
Yeah.
a firm believer that everything in the physical is a manifestation of energy.
Yeah, and it's the check engine light,
Yeah,
right? Because
yes.
you probably had signs before that,
Oh, for
but if
sure.
you're not slowing down and checking in with your body, you're not gonna hear
And it's
them.
gonna get louder
Yes.
and worse
So, like,
until you do.
I'm here to say to everyone, if you have bloating, if you have migraines, if you have any
All of
kind of
it.
ailment, this is not normal. It's become normal, but it's actually a check engine light. It's
Yes,
actually your body throwing you a little signal. Hey, this thing isn't working for me. It's could be something you're
100%.
doing. Like for me
But
personally,
most people go to the doctor.
oh,
You
exactly.
know, that's where they
Or
start.
they're just so used to it and they
Mhm.
aren't really connected with themselves and their body awareness, so they
Yeah.
may not even notice it, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
It actually took going to therapy for me years ago to realize that I carried all of my emotions that weren't processed in my stomach.
So I think that's similar. So I am very healthy and I don't have anything, but the only thing I struggle with is bloating.
Mhm.
And I cannot eat all day and I feel like I ate a full meal. It's that
Mhm.
really uncomfortable, just bloating feeling. And I
Yep.
know that's your solar plexus and your sacral,
Mhm.
and so I've tried digging into that and it's gotten better. But yeah, I'm still working through that. Like, what am I carrying?
Yeah.
That's
Well, yes, I think that that is so true and spot on, and it could be something from so long ago that you
mm-hmm.
were unaware of, but sometimes you don't have to dig all the way into the
It
past
could be a
to
food
be
that's
able to
I'm
heal it.
eating that's adding to it too.
Yeah, it could have
Mm-hmm.
physically manifested into your stomach, and now you need to repair your gut lining.
Yeah.
Now you need to take a digestive enzyme or,
Yep.
it could be a little something like that.
Yeah.
Um, which I think for me is definitely endometriosis as well. And like the generational stuff,
Yeah. Yep.
how that all gets passed down. And
And past lives too.
yeah.
I had a gal come in last week where it's so cool seeing people be aware of these things,
Mhm.
but she has a scar like right here on her chest and then like on her back like another one.
Mhm.
And she came in and she's like I forget how she worded it, but she was like it's almost as if like I was stabbed all the way through. And she was in a past life and she has those scars. Yeah,
Whoa.
isn't that wild? And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still learning this stuff, every day too, but a
Yeah.
lot of it can be from past lives. Like you can be dealing with something that's not, that doesn't run in the family.
Mhm.
And then it is from a past life. And that's why you're like, wait, this isn't from my mom or my dad or anything. But then
Mhm.
it could be so far back from a past life that
Yeah.
only you carry.
Yeah, and you could be driving yourself crazy trying to figure out, which I know I have. I've been very obsessive about because for me personally, I guess, once I found out that I had endometriosis,
Mm-hmm.
my body was this ongoing project of something to fix
Yeah.
for years.
Yep.
And that was really hard to come to terms with. I don't have to always be fixing it. Sometimes I need to just be with it. And when the time is right for me to start a new therapy, try a new supplement, or whatever it may be, it'll present itself to me in a very, very calm manner
Mm-hmm.
instead of this urgency of, I need to fix this now. And that's definitely the state I lived in for so long with my time of just hurry, hurry, hurry. I need to solve this right now.
I think that applies to me in my life right now as far as I've gotten better about the hurrying. I don't live my life that way. I live very much in the present moment now.
Hmm.
But I'm always about healing, healing, healing.
Yes.
Like dig into my trauma, heal my inner child stuff. And I've done so much of that work the last couple years where it's like just accept where I'm at. And then
Mhm.
but I'm so eager to keep going and
Yeah.
keep digging in. So I can definitely
Well, and don't
relate to
forget
that.
that you're human.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're having this human experience, so sometimes we don't always need to be in the clouds, which you and I spend so
Yeah.
much time
So
there.
much time.
This is what one thing I love about my husband is that he reminds me, like, "Hey, come back down here for a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
Let's be humans together."
Yep.
And because this whole life that we're experiencing, we will always have something to heal and to acknowledge and go through.
Definitely. And that goes back to, your time. Who are
Mhm.
you? am very grateful that I have a lot of very grounded people at Mystic.
Mhm.
You know, Maxwell, my breathwork
Yeah.
practitioner, he is one of my best friends and he is his energy is very grounding.
Mm.
So anytime, we're together, it's like I feel that he just like calms me down and I
Yeah.
help, hype him up a little bit. So
Mhm.
it's like, yeah, noticing your energy along with like other people's energy too.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
who do you want to be around? What do you I think you were the first person to bring that up for me. There was a specific friend a long time ago that I was like, "Well, I have so much fun with her, but
Mm,
and you were like, "Well, when you guys are done hanging out, like, what do you feel like?
yeah.
Just because she's a really fun person to be around, do you feel like she's adding value to your life? When
Yep.
she leaves, how do you feel? How's your body feel?" And I was like, "Damn, Tosh, you're really growing up. Wow."
And I've noticed that with certain people that have came into my life over the last year too. I became friends with this one gal and we had very similar energy,
Mhm.
go-getter, dreamer, hardworking,
Yep.
but she has a lot of toxicity and just a lot of trauma that she needs to go through
Mm.
that I've already been through.
Mm.
And she wasn't in a place that like wanted to work on that, just
Okay.
kind of accepted it. And that's where I had to remove myself because I'm like, oh, no, no, no. I've came so
Yeah.
far. And, so I would have fun with her and
Yeah.
whatnot, but it was just almost like I felt drained,
Yeah. Yeah,
So
and that's not even to say that the people that are in those positions are wrong or
no,
bad
not at
or
all.
less than.
Yeah.
But once you've reached a certain place in your life and what you've
Yep.
experienced, like, "Oh, this might drag me down a little bit."
Yeah.
And it is perfectly fine to decide to not have somebody in your life anymore.
Absolutely.
There is such a thing as moving on cordially without having to say something or have closure, or you don't have to say anything. You can
No.
just organically let it float away.
Yeah. And I've had to do that with several friendships and several people, and
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. I've
Yeah.
gotten so okay with just
Mm.
accepting, and it doesn't even bother me anymore. Like, oh, I wonder how they're going to feel about it or what they're going to think about
Mhm.
it. Because I know the people in my life are going to be, if they're meant to be in my life, are going to be so understanding of it, or it's just going to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just,
I think
yeah,
a lot of friends are for seasons,
yeah,
but I think there are few that are supposed to be your lifers
for sure.
because you go through so many different versions of yourself,
Yep.
and to have one, two, three friends that you guys can stay connected through all of it, their
Mm-hmm.
versions as well.
Yep.
Those are gems.
Yes.
Hold
Yes.
on to them.
Yes.
So, yeah, so many gems.
And some of those people may come and go, but they
Mhm.
always make their way back to each other, you
Yeah.
know? It
Mhm.
kinda like we talked about last time. We could go 4 or 5 months without talking, but every time we come back, we're, like, right in sync,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know?
exactly.
Yeah.
And we're in very, very different experiences in life right now. I
Mhm.
think me starting a business, that was a blessing in disguise because now we get to do these really fun
Yes.
podcasts, and
Yes.
um yeah, that's definitely been a blessing.
So I wanna touch on that because it's been about a month since we did your, um, postpartum doula
Yeah.
episode. How is that going for you?
It's good. So I'm still working with the one client right now, so
Okay.
that contract doesn't end till the end of June. Um, but
And you're still
just
feeling really good about it and
yes.
excited?
Yeah,
Good,
so
good.
actually I was reflecting yesterday. The one thing that I thought might be a challenge for me is taking care of other people all day long or however many hours I'm there, and then coming home and now needing to be a caretaker in my home.
Mm,
And it actually really surprised me because I come home almost refreshed for my family
okay.
because I've been away from them. I've been fulfilling my passion, and I love nurturing and caretaking and being there for moms and babies. And then coming home, I may be tired,
Yeah.
but I am so excited to see my family. And it's a different, I can compartmentalize. And so I think it speaks volumes when you're doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing. I
Mhm.
don't come home like, "Oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
can't look at my dishes, like, what do I eat?" Any of those types of things. I just feel very rejuvenated.
Yeah. And that's how everybody should feel. I don't even remember the last time I came home and was like, "Ugh, what a long day,
Right.
or, like,
Yeah.
I don't even remember the last time I felt like that, like,
Or had a
angry.
bad day, in
Yeah, like,
quotations, yeah.
angry or mad or any of that,
Mhm.
because it's how I'm choosing to use my time,
Mhm.
and yeah, it's been a long time, and that feels really good.
So how has your body been affected by the years you have spent being really intentional with your time and your business and your friends and everything like that?
How has my body been affected?
Yes, like, have you noticed your healing is easier? Have you noticed you're more restful?
I think it
Um
all kinda, like, how do I word this? I mean, there's so many different factors and layers
Yeah.
to where it's like, yeah, your mind's got to be right, your body's got to be right, your
Mhm.
spirit's got to be right, and it all contributes to your overall well-being. So I could be 100% mentally and emotionally, but then I eat a bad meal and
Mhm.
I'm just so I feel like I'm vibrating so high these days
Mhm.
that it just takes something instantly and my body speaks to me. I can eat
Sensitive.
dairy
Yeah.
and then my stomach is just growling at me and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, I knew that was going to happen because I
Yeah.
know it doesn't like it."
Yeah.
But sometimes we choose to do things that aren't good for us or having a drink or
Yeah.
so we're human. But I
And it's
think
I don't even think it's necessarily, sorry to cut you off.
no, you're good.
I don't think it's necessarily about good and bad foods,
Yeah.
but more so how does that body serve, or how does that food serve your body,
Yeah.
you
Yep.
know?
Mhm.
Like, you wanted that cheese, you ate that cheese or
Yeah.
the dairy, whatever, even though you knew this may not serve me as well as something else, but this is what
Mhm.
I want in this moment.
Yeah.
And I think that's important too.
Yeah. Because 'Cause we're human and
Yeah.
it's okay to, we're not perfect,
Yeah. Mhm.
but yeah, I don't like feeling those feelings, so
Yeah.
I am very mindful about watching the things I eat or the things I do or the people I'm with.
Yeah.
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 What about you?
Um, I think the first thing that comes to mind is definitely endometriosis and really how that manifested into my body and how I learned the way I live my life, because it's a lifestyle
Oh,
change.
yeah.
You can't just get a pill, you can't just change one or two things. I went through a damn
Yeah.
journey to figure out, actually, it was Dr. Joe Dispenza. I read his book, Supernatural or
Oh, yeah.
Becoming Supernatural,
Mhm.
and I learned that I may have the gene for it, my mom, my grandma, my great grandma, but I can turn the gene expression off. And so once I realized how to utilize my time better and what my body wanted, I was able to turn that gene expression off
Okay.
and to be able to know, yes, I do have endometriosis, but it's not my identity anymore. And so I
Gotcha.
was able to heal my body better because I could slow down and listen.
And another thing on that I wanna touch on is our minds are so freaking powerful. And that's where it starts. You've got to shift your mindset on
Mhm.
your healing. That's what started for me, where instead of telling myself, I'm hurting, I'm hurting, I'm hurting, that was the
Mhm.
first thing I shifted. Fake it till you make it. But like telling myself, I'm healing, I'm getting better, and
Mhm.
then taking the steps, to do that because rewrite your story.
Yeah.
We're casting spells. Everything we are manifesting 24/7 with the words we're speaking and the thoughts we're thinking. So, you know, pay attention to the thoughts and the things you're telling yourself every day,
Mhm.
too.
Mhm.
Like if you're
Yeah.
focused on something, you're going to attract more of that into
Yeah.
your life. So when you're
Yeah.
focusing on, and I can never say
You can
it,
say endo.
endo,
Yeah.
okay. When you're focusing on that, like, you're just making it, like, worse, you
Yeah,
know?
because it
Yeah.
becomes this giant gaping hole in your life that you're focusing
Yeah.
on. And I think my process is a little bit different than yours. I actually have to grieve, and I
Yeah.
actually have to let myself be in that negative state for a moment. I'm not
Mhm.
gonna unpack my bags and live there, but that's a part of me acknowledging how I truly fucking feel.
I feel like that
Like,
goes for anybody, though.
yeah,
Yeah,
this
for
shit
sure.
sucks. It
Mhm.
hurts. I can't get out of bed. Oh, by the way, it's also invisible, so people don't know what I'm experiencing every single day. And I really just had to sit with my shit and not have toxic positivity. And then once that season I got over that hill,
That's so important.
that's when I was able to start
Most people
implementing,
push
like,
it down,
yeah.
or like you
Mhm.
say, toxic positivity.
Yeah.
You have got to feel it to heal it.
Mhm.
But again, like you said, don't sit in it. You
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah, and I didn't actually know that's what I was doing. I thought I was bouncing back and forth from being a positive and negative person,
Mm,
and it really affected me because I'm like, I feel like deep down I am a very positive, uplifting person. Why do I keep going to these negative states? And it was because, oh, I wasn't actually fully allowing myself to feel just how pissed off I am about this and that there
okay.
wasn't a cure. And once I realized that I really needed that chunk in my healing process, then I was able to heal it,
Yeah.
process it, acknowledge it, and move on, and then
Yeah.
start implementing all the positive thoughts and like what my healing looked like.
So, in what ways did you, for those people that are listening right now, thinking to themselves, oh, I need to do that? In what ways did you allow yourself to feel it besides just sitting there? Did you have certain like
I
tactics?
cried.
You cried? Okay. Cried? Okay.
There was a lot of crying. There was venting to my best friends.
Okay.
There was straight up to my husband or probably before that. So to my partner in the past, just say like
Okay.
I'm fucking pissed about this.
Yeah.
And it really did affect my partner because one of the main symptoms is painful sex. So I
Mm-hmm.
had to constantly talk about it.
Yeah.
And honestly, crying helped.
Okay.
Angry journal entries of just like, I need to purge this out of
Yes,
me.
and there's so many different ways you can do that too, whether are driving and you're screaming or you're punching a
We love a
pillow.
good scream.
Yes, it's, like the rage rooms where you go and
Yes.
bash shit or,
Yes.
there's so many different ways. It's just getting that energy out.
I also think because I'm a very physical person, so when I do have any type of anxious, low energy, I have to physically move it out. So I think if I would have had a punching bag back in
Oh,
those
yeah.
days, I would have gone to town.
That's so funny because I
Yes.
just brought that up the other day. I was like, "I want a punching bag." Like,
Yes.
and I know being a manifesting generator
Mhm.
and having ADHD, I have got to get out my energy or else I'll struggle with my sleep.
Yeah.
I will lay there and so I need like physical exhaustion in
Mhm.
order to be able to sleep well at night.
And wouldn't you think that also comes out as, like, masculine energy?
Oh
So,
yeah.
like, sometimes I need to purge my energy in a masculine way, and they're like, if that means I need a fucking hammer and I need to
Yeah.
start just
Uh,
hammering shit
and maybe
together.
that's why I'm always doing, all this physical
Yes.
labor, like hanging shit, building
Yes.
shit. Like I love working with my hands.
That's
But
probably why we lasted in coffee for so long,
oh, for
because it's our
sure.
hands all day long,
Yep. And the social aspect too,
yeah,
talking to people and
but very quickly.
yes,
We weren't with them
yeah.
for hours.
We were at the busiest coffee stand in Kitsap County, All Star Espresso, lines wrapped around both sides, and it
Yeah.
was just go, 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 go.
Mhm.
I mean, there would be three of us working, and one of us would feel guilty to pee just to leave the
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was intense,
Mhm.
but I'm so grateful for that too. We met a lot of I feel like I have so many connections now because of that job too.
Yeah, I felt for the first time really rooted in the community.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is funny because I rarely ever saw a customer outside of work,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it still made me feel a part of community, and I never thought that was important to me,
Yeah.
but as I got older, I
Oh, me
realized how
too.
much I actually really
I
love
thrive off of it.
connecting
Yeah.
and making new relationships.
Yep.
Love it. So I feel like that was a really, really good seed for our businesses in the future,
Mhm.
right?
Well, it was kinda like, the building blocks, like
Yeah.
getting us to where we
Mhm.
are now and now having those connections and it all, everything, it all ties into
Yeah.
each other, and that's what's so cool.
A question that just popped into my head.
Okay.
When it comes to time, whether it's with your body or anything, what is something that you still struggle with?
Well, I would say I have the time. I stay busy because I have a million things that I could always be doing,
Yeah.
but I tend to not do the things I want to do or that
Mm.
I know I need to do for like myself and my body. And I go to the things that are habit and easy and comfortable because I
Mhm.
already know how to do it. Like I know I need to go to the gym, but yet I'll end up going to the shop and redecorating, moving shit around and.
Do you think it's that productivity mindset
Yeah.
of I'm not getting like quick results at the gym,
Yeah.
so you're just trained to believe like, "Oh, let me go check this other thing off my list."
Mhm. Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
But I am getting better about it. Like the other day, after I did everything I had to do at the shop, came home and I strapped on my ankle weights and my wrist weights and my backpack, loaded
Yeah.
it full of everything, and I just popped in my headphones and went for it and went down to Evergreen, up to the bridges, came back, and I was
Yeah.
sweating and
Yeah.
I felt good and I slept really well that night. So it's paying attention
Yep.
to, like, okay, what did I do this day when, because my sleep has been the owning a business and a million things running through my
Mm-hmm.
head. So it's really, it was past tense, a struggle for me to fall asleep, but
Mm-hmm.
making those changes, like making sure that I get some sort of workout in. Another one, like I was telling you earlier, my grounding sheet. I
Yeah.
bought a grounding
Yes.
sheet, and that I have noticed a huge difference where I wake up and I feel so much more alert.
Don't knock on those until you try it,
Oh
okay?
gosh, I
My
will try
husband,
everything and I
yes.
love it.
I never thought in a million years my husband would say the words, "Hey, I just bought us grounding sheets." I'm like, "Okay, my pants are coming off." Like, I was shocked.
I'm so turned on right now.
That's not dirty to
Isn't it
me.
funny how that's the kind of shit that turns us on, though? Oh my
Oh
God.
my gosh, I loved it so much, and it was
Mhm.
yeah. So yeah, don't
And
knock it
he's
till you
loving
try it.
them.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, he
me
says
too.
he can really tell a difference, especially with, like, his high stress job. He can come home and like, "Hey, these are not plugged in, are they?" And he'll,
Yeah.
sure enough.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that makes total sense because I had mine unplugged one night and the next morning I noticed I was a little bit like more groggy.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, son of a bitch, it's not plugged in. I didn't know it wasn't. So I paid attention to that. And it's hard because, I try all these things, try different supplements, but I don't give each thing enough time by itself because I'm always
Yeah.
adding new things in.
And if you're constantly chasing,
Mm-hmm.
then you're deflecting the whole point of it, which is to be in the present moment and listen to what your body's actually asking you
Yeah.
for,
Yeah. Totally.
which I feel like I still get easily stuck into. Just like the urgency of solving something and figuring it out
Oh,
and
yeah.
having
I'm a
the
problem
answer.
solver, a fixer. I
Absolutely.
love
And
that.
that serves a purpose in so many different ways. But when it comes to your time and slowing down, it's can be really negative and have a negative impact on your body.
I would say the one thing that I would recommend to people that has helped me when it comes to time is scheduling it.
Mhm.
Scheduling it, scheduling it, scheduling it.
Mhm.
Act as if make it a priority,
Yes.
whatever that is for you, making it. I'm looking at that bee and I'm like, oh, hell no. um,
I got you,
I
girl.
don't do bees. That's a
Watch me
fear I need to
outside.
get over for sure. But scheduling it, as if it's like a work shift. You have to
Mhm.
show up and, figure. So ask yourself, like, what are the things that are most important to you? Look
Mhm.
at your schedule, make the time, and hold yourself accountable and do it.
Yeah.
And it's easier said than done, but it takes practice too. If you fuck up, then just, okay, back at it again,
Well, yeah, and I think what's your goal for next month or next whatever. So for me personally, I am still healing my gut. It has been a 10-year process, but girl, I held so many emotions in there for so long,
Yeah.
and so it's still a work in progress, but okay, that's my end goal. I don't know when it's going to happen. I will know when it happens, but
Enjoy the
what
journey of
can I
it.
do today that
Mm-hmm.
is realistic and
One baby step
attainable?
closer to getting
Yeah,
you there.
because
Yeah.
we're not trying to aim for perfection.
Yeah.
We just want to feel better
Yeah.
and be a better version of ourselves. So yeah, like what's one small thing you can do today? That I think that's an easy question that anybody can start with.
Yeah. And I feel like I've been making those small adjustments a lot lately, just really
Mhm.
dialing down. Like I started a brand new gratitude journal.
Mm.
And for the last 8 days, I literally every day, whether it's a paragraph, a sentence, a
Mhm.
page, every day, I'm writing what I'm grateful for. And
Do you
that
know
makes me feel so good.
how much you can accomplish with a fresh journal?
Oh, yeah, I love
We
you know how
love a
many I
fresh
have
journal.
that are unfinished because then I love starting a new one and
Yep.
then I never finished it, and I'm like, my goal, I'll tell you right now, my goal is to finish a journal from front to back,
Yep.
all the way through,
Yep.
because I always make it like, 3/4 the way or, 25 days of the month, and I
Mhm.
never finish anything like that all the way to the end.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Well, because
I
you
think
get
that's another.
excited about something else,
Yeah.
which isn't a bad thing at all. But if
Mm-hmm.
it's within you and you want to work on that, it's just making it a habit. That's all.
Well, and that's the thing with goals too. I really try and think about that too. It's like, it's not the end goal that we're getting to.
Right.
It's the feeling,
Mm-hmm.
it's the adrenaline of getting there. And then that's why we veer off.
Yep.
So it's kind of,
Totally. The
when you,
excitement dies out.
yeah. So it's finding that excitement midway through or 3/4 way through and bringing that back to finish it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've noticed that once you reach a goal, do you celebrate yourself?
That's huge.
You
You
know?
have
Nope.
to.
Okay. And we're moving on. What's our next goal?
You
Before
have
I have
to.
even attained a goal, I already have 3 others in place.
Yep.
And I'm
Or
like,
it's like a book.
wait.
We read a book and
Yes.
then we jump to the next one.
Yes.
But I want to start reading a book, and that's why I love having accountability partners too, and talk about it. What did you learn? And sit in that for a minute before jumping on to the next one.
Yep.
That's something I definitely am so glad you brought that up, because celebrating yourself and, acknowledging that you made it
Yeah.
or you did it,
Well, and I think we get so stuck in this accomplishment, productivity, hyperdrive society, I
Yep.
guess. Like, that is implemented in us at such a young age. It's like, when do you even acknowledge it and start to unravel that?
Yeah.
When do you start to acknowledge that rushing and achieving, trying to be as productive as you can, actually is not serving you as well as you think it is?
I did hear one thing on a Mel Robbins podcast that I really liked, because, we're constantly manifesting things, but she said to state it and claim it. So
Mm.
when you manifest it, claim it and acknowledge it. Thank you. Thank
Mhm.
you for bringing this, forward.
Yes,
And
that's so
acknowledge,
true.
because the universe, you got to express that gratitude for
Mhm.
it. But we're so quick to half the things that we've manifested in the past, we
Yes.
forget. But then it's
Yes.
like, oh shit, I manifested that.
Yeah.
We don't like until it's like later on.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
then when you do realize that you got what you asked for, sit with that.
Yeah.
I finally one day had to make a list of all of the things I had manifested and prayed for that I actually received.
That's such a
And
good
it
idea.
was because I was in the middle of praying and asking for something that, like, it was taking forever. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what? I don't love this state that I'm in. I'm to reassure myself that I do get the things that I want and ask for. I'm going to make a list of everything that has come my way that I've asked for.
That's a really
Sometimes
good
they took a
idea.
week, a month, sometimes a couple years.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it just depends.
And rejection is redirection.
Yeah.
We may not get the thing that we want. It's possible, but if that thing doesn't come, it's because something better is in store.
Yeah. And I think that's definitely a hard thing for people to realize, that when that door shuts, it's not for you,
Yeah.
or it's not for you at this time.
Yeah. I've gotten really good at that, like accepting if something doesn't work out, I'm just like, ooh, something better's coming, or it wasn't meant to
Yeah.
be. I
Like,
just
get
look at,
excited.
yeah, I look at
Mhm.
things so differently now, and it's just really freaking cool.
Mhm.
It's so cool to just see how you think now compared to how you used to think or how you used to handle situations. I mean, I can sit in that forever and just reflect.
Don't you love a moment when you get to experience yourself differently, when you're like, wow, I would not have
Yeah.
felt this way a year ago? And you get to actually witness your own growth. Those moments for me are rare, but when they happen, I'm like, wait, can somebody
Yeah.
clap for me?
Right?
This is
That's when you just,
amazing.
clap for yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, because nobody's ever gonna clap for you or be as
Yeah.
excited, for you than you.
Mhm.
When it comes to dreams, goals, and we always want that
Oof,
person by
that's
our
a hard one.
side.
That's a hard one. I think that that's definitely been something I've had to work on in my marriage.
Okay.
I am such an outwardly expressive, excited
Me
I
too.
get jacked up on Mountain Dew about the smallest things or ideas or
Yeah.
whatever. And Tanner's more of a, like, let's sit and wait and see.
Mm.
Like, I don't know how I'm going to feel until that thing is here. So he's more of a live, yeah, how guys,
Have you pulled his chart to see what he is?
yeah, well, yeah, but I don't have
Okay.
everything memorized.
No, but like human design, like, do you know what he is and whatnot?
I definitely pulled it. It's
Okay.
probably on my app.
Okay.
I want to say he's a Wait, remind them of me, all of them
So
again?
it's a manifester, manifesting generator, generator, projector, or reflector.
I think he's either a generator or mani
Okay.
generator.
Look into that more because one thing I am so passionate about is learning the people around me there, especially a
Yes.
partner. Oh my God.
Mhm.
I feel like I want to know my person's chart just as much as mine because
Yeah.
it helps you just navigate through things so much
Yeah, and
easier.
it really helped us because he's like, "Not every little thing needs to be
Yeah.
celebrated," and I get that. If that's how you
Yeah.
wanna roll, that's fine. I am a person that likes to celebrate everything,
Yeah.
but then when you reflect back, I'm like, "Oh, wait, I was celebrated so much in my childhood about
Mm.
everything."
Yeah.
I'm not talking about, like, participation trophies, but, like,
Yeah.
my parents were very expressive about, "I'm proud of you. You did this thing, that's awesome. I love you." I heard "I'm proud of you" so many times, and so now that's how I treat myself with things. So I think learning how your partner is and knowing there is no right or wrong
Yeah.
way, but
Yeah.
to really try and come together about, "Hey, this thing is really important to me. I would love for you to celebrate it with me."
Mm.
I would love for you
Mhm.
to clap with me because honestly, it just motivates the hell out of
Well, that's
me.
what you're used to too, and seeing
Exactly.
that's a perfect example of how we are all so different
Yeah.
and from the programming from growing up and you may have had that growing up, but your partner may have never been told,
Yeah.
that he was smart or
Yep.
that his parents were proud of him. And
Mhm.
that's why we all handle things so differently.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right.
And it's sad. It's so sad to me that so many relationships or friendships or whatnot, they struggle all because of lack of communication,
Mhm.
because they're
Mhm.
operating from their own,
Yep.
you know?
Yeah, like I was just telling you about that app. I'm gonna get real straightforward here. Nothing my husband doesn't already know. Marriage is fucking hard,
Yeah.
okay? And I don't care what your experience is, but I our communication has been something that we have had to work on tirelessly. And we are so different, but finding that paired app that I started,
Mhm.
just implementing little things with your time and connecting with your partner about that. And for us, what we did was this app. I said, "Hey, we need to try something different.
Yeah.
We've tried a million things, it's not working. Let's try this." And it's lighting up my world because
Yes, I love that.
I'm
A
getting to
different
know
side of
him.
him, yeah.
Yes, and he's able to express himself. So I'm like, okay, maybe he's more expressive through something like this, not necessarily
Mm.
sit down
Just
face to
talk,
face.
yeah.
He needs a moment to sit with it and reflect on it, and then he'll come back to me later. Where I'm like, no, let's sit down right here, hash it out.
Yeah.
And he's like, he needs to process for a while.
I love that you brought that up because lately I've actually been like counseling my mom in her marriage.
Hmm.
And I was just on the phone with her this morning for like an hour. But what I love what you just said is, yeah, you guys, your communication, but so many people just complain and they just talk back and forth, and that does nothing. So
Yes.
you are finding, I told her this morning, I'm like, Mom, you're just saying words to him and he's just saying words to you.
Yeah.
That's not doing anything. You guys are in
No.
this repetitive cycle, but here you're like, "Okay, let's try this app. Let's try
Because
therapy.
you're fighting
Let's
to be
try."
heard.
Yeah.
Like, my biggest heartbreak is when I feel misunderstood.
Mm,
Like, I don't feel truly seen, and that just is so hard for me to come back from and heal with, and if we're not having the right communication style, of course, I'm gonna feel misunderstood, and vice
yeah.
versa, him
Yep.
too. I know I can just be a bull and just dive right on in, and
That's me too.
I
I'm
had a
like,
habit of, like, talking at you.
mm,
I probably could have been a lawyer in another life. But I think just really setting the ego down,
yeah.
spending that time together, and really l seeing them in that moment because
Mhm.
that's gonna be reflected back to you,
Yeah.
and it takes time, especially
And
with
it takes
kids or
effort.
businesses.
Like if there are
It
any
does.
relationships out there that are struggling, communication is huge, but it's finding different things, trying
Mhm,
all the different things. Like
mhm,
you're trying the Parrot app and you're
yeah,
noticing that's really working for you,
mhm,
where some people could be trying therapy and some people, I mean, just there's so many different options. As
mhm,
long as you're putting in the effort, if you care enough about your relationship, it cannot just be words, you and your partner back and
yeah.
forth. You've got to try different things.
So, do you just not to throw you under the bus here, do you want to touch on divorce and like what have you learned about yourself
Oh, so I
with
did a whole episode on
communication?
this actually.
Okay.
Yeah, me, Christina Maxwell, we talked about divorce and yeah, if I knew then what I know now,
Yeah.
I would have done things so differently. And, I'll say it again and again. Like back then, I now I see it. Like some people are just content. My
Mhm.
ex-husband is just content. He just wants to
Mhm.
smoke weed and hang out. Back then, I'm like, why don't you have any dreams or goals? And,
Yep. And
so
now you're like, well, actually, no, we're
yeah,
just
that's
so
okay
different.
that you're like
Yeah.
that. So, yes, I have learned so much, and I'm at a place in my life where I'm not reactive anymore. I
Yep.
respond. I will
Yep.
not, like, I haven't argued or fought with anybody in 3 years now. It's been a
Mhm.
long time.
Mhm.
And anybody can come at me and try. And I'm just over here like, nope, you're not going to get that from me. Like, if
Yeah.
you want to talk like an adult, we can sit here, but there's no reason to raise your voices or scream. I've
Ooh.
been there.
Ooh.
And I
Oh,
don't
yes,
miss
I
it. I don't
have.
like the way that shit made me feel, and
No, and, like well, especially, I'll touch on with Brody's dad, like, I did not know how to emotionally regulate myself,
yeah,
and when you're in it, you're like, "Oh, we don't work together.
yep,
This love is not right, it's toxic, like, I
mhm,
love you, we made this incredible child together,
yeah,
but something's not working," and then you reflect and you're like, "Oh, I absolutely did not know how to emotionally
yeah,
regulate. I
both played a
didn't
part
know
in
how"
it, yeah,
Absolutely, and,
yeah,
like, I mean, things were still inevitable. I think
mhm,
we were always still meant to go our separate
for
ways.
sure,
So if it wasn't then, it still would have been eventually.
yep,
And we both found our loves and our soulmates, but it really does come down to that. Like, can you reflect on yourself? Can you look back and learn?
yeah,
Or are you just gonna pick the same partner and repeat the
yep,
same things?
and you
And
learn so much more each relationship. I've learned
yes.
so much through my relationships after my divorce,
Mhm.
and every
Sometimes it
single
takes a handful of
Oh,
them.
yeah, I mean,
You're gonna have
fuck.
to keep repeating it until
I literally joke, I had a husband, a boyfriend, and a fiance all within 1 year. Like, not at the same time, but literally all in 12 months from June to June.
Yeah.
That was in the same year that I started my business, quit my
Mhm.
job. I mean, that was the year of my life. But yeah, I've learned so much through each relationship, and
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for it.
Yeah, and you also made the best decision that you thought was best for you in that moment, for, like,
Absolutely.
that version of yourself. So,
Mm-hmm.
of course, you can look back and be like, "Oh my god, what was I thinking?" But, like, in that moment, in that version of yourself, you respected her, you honored her,
Yep.
you did exactly what you thought you needed to do.
Well, and then too, so when I was engaged and I moved to San Diego, how that it
Yeah.
turned out,
Sure
and I was
do.
only there for 3 months. He turned out to be a narcissist sociopath, like
Mhm.
the worst of the worst, and I didn't even know anything about narcissism until I went through it,
Mhm.
and I had to educate myself
Yeah.
and heal from the little bit of trauma that I went through in those
Yeah.
3 months, and, I'm somebody who has always loved having closure.
Yeah.
I didn't have closure in
Oh,
that.
that's
I
so
left
hard.
my key and my ring on the counter and dipped out when he wasn't there and came
Yeah.
home. And so, yeah, it took me a long time to recover and heal from that. And then I was mind blown because within those 2 years, I attracted the same situation. And I know you know who
Yeah.
I'm talking about. I don't
Yeah.
do names, but
Yeah.
the same thing 2 years later. And I
Mhm.
shit you not, same period, 6 months, December to June.
Mhm.
And then 2 years later, December to June. But what I realized in that was how much I had grown and how I handled it.
Mhm.
When I left San Diego, I was pissed. I yelled. I was just angry at, like, how could you do this to me? You
Yeah.
weren't who you said you were. But then 2 years later, when he started showing those same behaviors and handling things,
Yeah.
I didn't entertain it. I just
Yeah.
said, okay, we're done here. And,
Yeah.
so I definitely saw my growth through that too.
Yeah, and just that line that you said of "You're not who you say you were,"
Mm-hmm.
that could have easily been such a deep wound from something in the past that was now ready to come out, and it came out with him.
Well, and I learned to not, I've always had a huge heart and trust everybody.
I know you
I
do.
had to
I
go
know
through
you
that.
do.
But now I'm so grateful because I know the difference between authentic and fake.
Yeah.
I can feel people's words,
Mhm.
and people tell me all the time, "You're like a human lie detector." Oh, yeah. I can look at you
Well,
and we
once
can
you've
be
gone
having
through all that bullshit.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
had to go through that because now any guy that comes into my life and whatnot, like, I can tell if they're
Yeah.
telling me what I wanna hear or if it's
Yes.
truth. I can feel it in my body. So
Yes.
that's another thing going back to being in tune
And
with your
create
body.
boundaries, right?
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all part of the plan. And, so I'm so grateful and thankful for every relationship that I've been through. And I'm still
Yeah.
the best of friends with, all of my exes except two.
Yep.
You can't force it. And some people will never grow up or mature, but
Yep.
I did put it out there. Hey, I hope we can be friends.
Mhm.
But I let that go and that's okay. But even all the guys I went on dates with, I'm buddies with them.
Yep.
I'm like, just because we didn't work out romantically, I still want you in my life, you
Yeah,
know?
something beautiful will always come out of it. Like, I never in a million years thought I would be in a co-parenting situation. Like, that was not a popular or talked about
Yeah.
thing back when it happened, I guess. Or if it was talked about, it was like baby mama drama.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no way in hell that's happening to me. I'm gonna make
Mhm.
this. And I remember when Bruce and I split, it was we both agreed keep your um, who you pick out, keep your standards high.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
just do it for Brody, for us. We gotta make this thing work. And
Yeah.
we both stuck to it really well. And like, I get an incredible bonus mom for Brody.
Yes, I
Like,
know.
shout out to Keels. You're amazing.
Yes, yes.
And just knowing that we weren't meant to end up together, but like, look what I got. I now have four, including myself, amazing people to help raise this child.
Yes.
I got a new friend. Like, it's
But that's all
something incredible
because
can
of
happen.
your choice, and we all
Yes, and
have that
mine. Yep.
choice.
My intentions. Yep.
And that's so important for those of you out there who, it is possible to be civil, but your ego's in the way,
Yeah.
really
Absolutely.
try and remove it because even when, you know, my ex-husband started dating one of my really good friends
Yeah.
when I came back from San Diego and I knew it wasn't intentional. Both of them, love me and respect me. It just happened.
The chemistry just happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was
Mhm.
okay with that. I had people messaging me, DMing me. "Oh my god, I cannot believe that. Who would do that to you? You're like the
Mhm.
best person ever." And I even like out to dinner with my closest girlfriends. That's so fucked up. I had to shut that shit down. I
Yeah.
had to be like, "You guys, I'm
That's
happy for them."
yeah.
I could have sat there and been like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." But no, I don't entertain that. I'm
Yeah.
not here for the gossip or the drama. And I
Mhm.
will be the first to shut it down or say, let's not talk about things that don't matter. That's their life.
Yeah.
Everybody likes to talk about other people.
Mhm.
And I don't even remember the last time I was in a situation like that because I choose to surround myself around people where we're talking about dreams and goals and
Yeah.
healing and shit that fucking matters,
And it's not up to you or us to control that person's destiny.
Yeah.
It's like they made a decision and they ended up being honest with you. And it's like,
And now we're
it's not up
besties.
to
They
you.
literally just moved one street down from me and Manette. Like, we're
Yeah.
like neighbors now. And so
Yeah.
they came over, I'll walk over there and, but we choose to, life's too short. Fuck, if
Mhm.
I could say back to time,
That's
life
what I was
is
going to say.
too
Is
short.
if the way we can end this is what's one last thing you can say about time?
Both of us have, lost somebody. So we know
Mhm.
like that. And not a lot of people, it's kind of like you never know until you go through it.
Mhm.
And we have been through it. And it just think about I feel like it was just Christmas,
Yeah.
time freaking flies and life's too short, so pick and choose your battles and this is your life and you are in charge. You get to choose how you show up. You get to choose who you want in your life. You get to
Yep.
choose how you use your time and nobody else does. And so pay attention to if you have any like shit in your life right now, it's a reflection of your own internal stuff. Like we are all mirrors and teachers for each other. So whatever is coming at you, fix it.
Mhm.
Like stop pointing the finger, blaming the other person or playing the victim. Like do something about it. It's the problem is always you, Louise. Hey, the problem
Yeah.
is always you. And
Yeah.
I am a firm believer in that.
Yeah. No, I
So
agree with that.
get your shit together.
Yes.
That would be my thing. Or, DM me to schedule a call
Yes.
and, I can help you out. So, what about you? What would be your
I love that. That's so true. I would say, first of all, I have to pee really bad, so I'm
We're
definitely gonna
wrapping this
wrap
up.
this up. Time is man-made. So how do you want to create your time? How do you want to slow down and listen to your body. Your body is your number one navigator in this life. What is it telling you with your time?
And thank you for that because, yes, I talked about that in a couple episodes ago. Just tuning in, sit with yourself. What does anger feel like? What does sadness feel like? And whether you get a pit in your stomach or you feel it in your throat, like our
Just
bodies,
acknowledge it.
yeah, acknowledge it and then locate it and just kind of, oh, it's in my throat. So to me, that would be like, okay, I need to speak something,
Yep.
or, just,
And
yeah.
it can be really, really quick. I was feeling sad the other day. And I immediately went into that. Where's this coming from? What triggered it? Blah, blah. And I thought, let's just pause. Where do I feel it in my body? It was like in my throat. I'm acknowledging, yeah, I feel really fucking sad right now, but it's not coming out, and that's okay. I'm just going to sit here for just a few seconds
Yeah.
and just acknowledge it.
Yeah.
And that's what I did with that time. And look, it took 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And then it like organically just processed and went on.
Yes.
That's all it takes.
Yeah. Oh, man, we could sit here and talk about all this
We
all
could,
day long.
But I don't have the time because I'm going to pee my pants.
Well, thank you, Katie, again for coming on.
Love you.
Love you more. And we will see you all soon.